Push the weight enough flex. Flex, the live is 1 in the 6. With the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
It's Sunday, y'all. Absolutely. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Come on in, smash the like button, like the video, share the video. We are our own algorithm. Let's not leave it up to Miguel or his boyfriend Jerome to do anything for us because we already know how they do. We got to go fast because there's a lot of things I want to cover. Let's do this roll call real quick. Dirt Gang Boss, Bernard Gilbert, Shogun, Columbia, Bionic Prince, Jimmy Bernard, Chilltime Majors, Rod Neal, my brother, salute, Eric Jordan in the building, Adrian Vent. All right, let's get it. First and foremost, I'm annoyed. Because it's clear to me that you JBs are JBs for a reason. I'll wait till later, but y'all see the meme. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. When I say JB and you look at my memes tell stories. So if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Rabbits are vegetarians. They don't eat chicken. Rabbits are vegetarians. They don't eat chicken. Rabbits are vegetarians. They don't eat chicken, but the bunnies do that live in the jungle. I just told you what a JB is. Professor X, Eden, salute. I had the event last night was pretty good. The undercard was pretty good. There was some exciting things going on. There was some close fights. We're gonna get to them individually. But there's a fight tonight, and I just wanted to get this off real fast. There's a fight tonight between Clarissa Shields and Franchon Cruz DeZern. I support both of those women, but you know what, man? Y'all know about the Niagara Falls joke, Abbott and Costello. Slowly I turn. You can YouTube it. Step by step. Slowly I turn. I'm telling you right now, I have a low tolerance level for Negro. I have a low tolerance level. I'm telling you right now, depending on how you behave outside of the ring, it is possible for that to overshadow my support for you. If you're running around acting like a complete and total monkey, do not think I won't talk about it, because I'm going to hold you to a higher standard. We are looked at. No matter what we do, we have to maintain a certain etiquette because we are who we are. We're hated, but we are gods. We're hated, but we are gods. And that plays into what I'm going to talk about, the result of the event last night. Something happened with Franchon Cruz DeZern and Clarissa Shields. All I know is that a fight broke out. Franchon may have hurt her ankle. I don't know what happened. I saw clips of the video. I read some things. People talking about who started. Look, I don't know. But here's what I can say. We don't need to be behaving like that with one another. We don't need to be treating each other like that. Those are two queens, and they're supposed to lock horns. They're the best in the game. I don't know who started it, but I want to remind y'all, this is isn't this not the second time something happened with Clarissa Shields at a weigh-in Am I mistaken on that? This is the second time now. Now, if I can hold Keyshawn Davis accountable for his ignorance, why can I not hold her accountable? I don't know if it was her. I don't know if it was Pat. I don't know if it was somebody in the entourage, but the video I saw, it was a melee, and I saw Franchon. I think she almost fell off the stage or something, and she kind of like turned her ankle. I don't know what's going on, but make no mistake about it, you need to know better. You need to do better. And I'm beyond being embarrassed by your behavior, because more and more I come to the understanding that you're not me. You're not me. Y'all have no etiquette. Y'all are disgusting. Do you know, in a split moment, it's hard enough for Clarissa to find opponents, but in a split moment during that melee, Franchon, what if she fell and actually twisted her ankle and sprained it and had to pull out the fight? What happened to all the people that broke that bought tickets and looking for the fight to watch, and then the fight is lost already because y'all can't control yourselves? What happened? What's wrong with you jungle bunnies? What's the matter with y'all? Why do I have to have this conversation? When I say who raised these N-words, I really mean that. I really mean that. Why am I having, she's a grown-ass woman. She's pretty much touched the mill. We hold her to a high standards. We acknowledge her greatness. And your antics outside the ring can diminish everything you've done and accomplished in that goddamn ring. We talk about Adrian Broner, where he's supposed to be in the ring. You know what prohibited him to move forward? His antics outside the ring. He could have came back after the Marcos Maidana fight, but his ego and how he looked after the fight, that messed with him. But you running around doing sex vids and acting the fool on social media, running around on tour with rappers, crashing up scooters in the street, getting into arguments with women in the street. Nobody told you, hey man, with this great power comes great responsibility? No one told you that? Once you meet a tax bracket, you might not want to be outside as much. No one told you that? Every time Floyd Mayweather outside, he got 300-pound security guards around him. How about this? Hey, Floyd, you might not want to go outside as much. And I know it's a free world. You do what you want to do. But at what costs? Y'all didn't listen to Eddie Murphy on Raw when he talked about how his wife kept nagging him, we need to go out, we need to go out, we need to go out. And the one time he went out, he got in that fight with that Italian guy in the bar. And surprise, surprise, when he thought the brothers and sisters would stick to him and get his back, they all sued him. That was a real story. I remember when it came on the news, and then he told the joke in his stand-up. He said, the sisters and brothers, they sued me. I don't know who y'all look up to. I don't know who you worship. I don't know who your OGs are. But more and more, you prove either that they failed or you don't listen. You just don't listen. I have a lot of examples where you can have a superstar athlete and then never in trouble. Watch this. How many of y'all know how LeBron James' wife looked? I'll wait. Some of y'all just found out how LL Cool J's wife looked. For 30 years, I didn't even know how that woman looked until like recently. I said, oh, that's his wife? Been with her the whole time. LL Cool J was a gimmick. And he played it well. Block Janae, E8, whatever the hell it is. E8, yeah, because she ate. Block Jane. We're not doing that. Everybody blocked Jane. So I don't know what Clarissa got going on. And I don't know what Franchon got going on. But I hold y'all women to a high standard. That shit is embarrassing. And I can't stand you jungle bunnies. I can't stand you. Because every time I turn around, I got to look at that and then deal with the racists. Like this racist in my chat right now. I know what this is. I know what this is. Before I move forward, Stormy, you have anything to say about that you didn't say this morning?
Yeah, regarding the Clarissa Shields and Franchon incident, you're right that they did say that Franchon had hurt her ankle and damn near snapped it upon falling. There was no update whether or not she would be able to continue and go through with the fight, but it was interesting to see the position that Clarissa took with that news. She tried to say that Franchon is trying to pull out of the fight. This woman who has, I don't have their records in front of me, but she has about at least 10 more fights than Clarissa or whatever in her career. We haven't known her to pull out of any fights or try to engage in something where the fight would be in question. Clarissa has adopted a mindset and a sense of expression that is right out of the bottom feeder's aquarium. That's what she's doing and how she's living right now. And some of you may not like hearing that, don't want people to speak against your queen, but that's not queen behavior. Even Savannah Marshall, when she fought French, there was no back and forth and threat of the fight being in jeopardy. And Franchon represented herself so well that we kind of was like, if I'm not mistaken, that's the fight where she sang the national anthem too.
Yeah, man.
And still fought. I mean, we're talking about elevation. And you guys need to understand the proper thing to support and respect, and the thing that you need to hold your own accountable for. That is disrespect, not just in representation of themselves when they enact those actions and spew the way of speaking, but it's reflective upon the community.
Yep.
You see, there's something in legalese called RICO. There's something that Drew has put out there to you guys before, in concert. It's similar. And guilt by association will find you being associated with the wrong thing, and you'll be included in the barrel with the rest of the rotten apples.
Yep.
Do you all remember Boys in the Hood? When Trey was riding in the car with Ice Cube and them, and they was getting ready to go and do some bad things, and he reflected upon his teachings of his dad, and he told Ice Cube's character, hey,
oh, let me out.
Let me out.
Yep. Yep.
And that was a moment where the fate of his life took a different turn, because we know how the rest of the film plays out thereafter. And Doe didn't make it much longer after that, nor did his other cohorts that were in the car with him.
And they made sure they let you know about it at the end of the film. They made sure they let you know about it.
Yep. Guilt by association.
Yep.
And when the law is involved, RICO brings you all down.
Yep.
So, yeah, those are a few extra and additional sentiments that I have to offer regarding that. And I'm going to tell you guys, if you are a Clarissa Shields fan, supporter, follower, you need to tell her that. You need to tell her she is in no position in this life's existence to be above being corrected, because she's living on the wrong side a great deal. And for those that support and feel that that's what it is, bye-bye. Because I'm going to tell you something. RICO and that whole thing about it's not funny, but it's interesting because this is a teachable moment.
How do you not know that on this
being
level?
in concert?
Yeah.
You know, that's not the type of performance or play, music, whatever that I am here to support and dance to. No way. No way. Those are my thoughts.
How do you not know that on this level, on $1 million level? You got people watching you. You got little girls watching you. And this is the second time something happened at a weigh-in where she was involved. Now, I don't want to hear it. Her next fight, when there's a weigh-in and there's extra police, I don't want to hear y'all talking about, oh, why the police over there? Yeah, because this is the second time something happened at a weigh-in. And all you jungle bunnies around there eating chicken and watermelon, co-signing the nonsense. Now, you hear me and Stormy speaking out. You heard Coach talk about it this morning. I ain't got to say anything else about it. I support what she does in the ring, but I'm going to tell you something, man. I don't care who you are. You start effing up outside that ring, I'm going to say something about it, because it's not going to be long before that spills into the performance inside the ring. What if Franchon Cruz-Dezurn broke her ankle and then decided to sue? What are y'all going to say? There's no suing in boxing. Get it back in blood when your ankle heals? No. I can't get the payday. I can't get a belt. I can't get my opportunity because some asshat on that team decided to push a woman and she goofed. How do I know Clarissa ain't do that on purpose? Franchon could say that. She could sue her for what? Damages. And I want to point this out. My brother Rod Neal says they were both out of pocket. I saw DAZN accuse her of taking the IV just yesterday before the weigh-in. They should both be embarrassed. Yeah, I heard something about an IV. I heard about that. You know, this is a dirty ass game and everybody's on 10. So I don't know, but what I'm saying is I saw the melee and I just once I read what it was, I just turned it off. I was like, man, I can't believe this. We're still doing this. Now, you know, someone could have, you know, the drug thing, you know, fine, you know, but I don't know what people got the shoving in a melee breaks out. What is that, bro? What is that? When we was at the Garcia Haney presser the other year, remember how that melee broke out? Y'all remember what happened? That was stupid ass Bernard Hopkins going to Devin's team and mushing him with his finger. I was standing right there. I said, oh, what the fuck? And then dude ran up on the stage. B-Hop ran away. He mushed him and ran away. And then a melee ensued. And the whole time we were standing like, yo, why did Bernard do that? You know why? Because he's a pussy. That's why. And he did that on purpose. He did it on purpose. I uploaded a video. I was standing right there and I watched them do it. I couldn't believe that. All right. Good luck to them. And I hope Franchon is all right, and I hope both of those sisters get out safe. But I'm annoyed with the bullshit. Now let's get to the event. I'm gonna start off with Richardson Hitchens. Brooklyn. Look, you darky. I don't want to see you in the ring unless you're fighting Oscar Duarte next. Darky, you jungle bunny. I don't want to see you again. If you're not running it with Oscar Duarte, I don't want to see you again. Because here's what I think. Because you sounded really good on stage, right? And so Oscar Duarte, with his limited English, he made sure he told you to shut the F up. And it was hilarious, but he wasn't finna play with you. You know what I think? Or that glazing and praising that you're doing everyone else? You heard when Ryan said, oh, when they asked him, who did you think was on steroids? When Ryan said he said, what if there's a steroid league? Can you imagine that? In that same conversation, you know what he said when he was asked, who did you think was on steroids? He said Oscar Duarte, because that guy wouldn't stop. And I think, Darky, Jungle Bunny, I think that you knew you was in for a fight. You was on that podium talking about, yeah, you know, the IBF rules and whatever. And my antennas went up talking about the 10-pound rehydration clause. And I said, why is he even bringing that up? And then the Queens of the Ring said in their weigh-in, Richardson didn't look too good. Okay. You pull out of the fight on fight night. You know what, dude? I keep telling y'all this is why I have trust issues. I keep telling y'all I support the fighters that do the work. I also tell y'all you could do work, but what you do outside the ring can make me look at you very strange. I was just talking about Clarissa Shields and a lot of these knuckle dragging fighters. Oh boy, they showed their ass yesterday, didn't they? We gonna get to it. We gonna get to it. And I'm telling you what I'm finna do this year. On a lot of these dudes, well, I did it the last 2 years. I just gotta back off. I gotta back off, you jungle bunnies. I'm making it official today. I gotta back off of you jungle bunnies. I really do. I really do. I'm backing off you jungle bunnies because I don't trust you. Right now, active fighters, I trust three active ones. The rest of you, I'm just looking at y'all like this because I don't know about y'all. I don't trust you. I don't trust you jungle bunnies. I don't. Because I'm watching y'all. I'm listening to what you say. And it's to the point where you can F up so bad outside that ring from what comes out your boca. I can get turned off by watching you in the ring because I just don't like you at this point. When I tell you that black athletes are held to a particular standard and the fighters tell me it's not about race, and then the fans tell me it's not about race until it happens to them. Y'all remember when Bud said, in reference to Bob Arum, you don't know his heart. And we was like, Bud, we absolutely know his heart. And with respect to Bud, fella, nobody in your set told you not to go to Dubai and talk to Daniel Kinahan? No one told you that? No one told you that? Nobody told you that. Who's watching you? Who's looking out for your best interest? And then it wasn't until after he killed the Manny Pacquiao fight and then started talking about Bud's lack of sales, then he sued him for racial discrimination. And you haven't heard anything about that. Sounds like a gag order to me. We're going to pay you to make this go away because you can prove it, but don't talk about it anymore. Nobody asked him about that. You didn't even notice how that went away. And then when that happened, let me show you something. When that happened, it's not about race, right? When that happened, y'all go ahead and read that. See that? This was back in 2022, y'all. When did Bud join the LDBC? Isn't this the same guy who re-signed with Top Rank in the past and helped bring other black fighters over to the company? Talking about Shakur. See, to be a proud black person in the sport of boxing to any capacity, they automatically say you're LDBC. Because what does that mean? We speak up on it. Come on, man. Stop it. It ain't about race, though, right? So when I see the blackest Jungle Bunny in boxing and Richard Hitchison, because he's so black, his name is Africa. Now, let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all know the story behind how he got that name? Because he's Haitian. I just learned that like last year. I said, oh, he Haitian. Well, Haitian American. But y'all know how he got that name? I was shocked. I'll give you the short version. His gym named him that. But here's the thing. I understood that he came up in the gym with a bunch of Latinos. So how the hell did he get the name Africa? He said the cats around him called him that. And it stuck? All right, bro. See, already we off on the wrong foot with this dude. But I said, hey, I'm going to try and watch him in the ring. So he beats up George Kambosos. Thank you for that. Whatever. But then gets on international television, calls out Devin Haney, calls out Bill, F-U-N-word, let's fight. And then the next day you on a boxing voice talking about, I was just BSing. I was like, word, man? Really? Pause, y'all. Did I lie? Everything that I said, did I say anything that was not factual? So when people say, hey, man, what's your problem with Richards and Hitchens? I just explained it to you in under 3 minutes. Now watch this. Did I say he was trash in the ring? No. But I can't get past this behavior. I can't get past this pump faking. Pump faking. Pump faking. Pump faking. You wanted Devin, pump fake. Your name is Africa, but you was high-fiving with Teofimo Lopez in the ring the day you said F-U-N-word, F y'all N-words, talking to Bill and Devin said, let's fight, while talking to Teofimo Lopez. Then you found out that was a pump fake, right? But I'm supposed to look past that, right? All right, cool. Let's look past that. What did you do last night? I know you didn't fight. Oscar Duarte? That was supposed to be easy work. Nah, young man. I think you were afraid that Oscar was going to put you in a position where you've never been before. Oscar was going to bring that smoke. Was he going to win? I don't know. But we won't know, right? Now, if this dude comes back to do anything outside of fighting Oscar Duarte, that's your man's. And I don't trust him to do anything else past that. Stormy, your thoughts on Mr. Popo?
You know, I've always had a issue with these guys who got so much to say in this sport, but have had very little that they can show for having done and accomplished. This young boy is at the top of the list. Mm-hmm. When Evander Holyfield was 28 years old, when Pernell Whitaker was 28 years old, they were fighting and defending undisputed titles. There's a reason that I paused after that. Mm-hmm. It's self-explanatory. Yep. He's 28 years old. Just recently had an opportunity to win a title, which now he's complaining about the rehydration clauses and everything that go along with that particular sanctioning body. But that's a whole different story right there, because he could have stayed in the rankings of other sanctioning bodies, but he would have had to face tougher opposition. So getting the ups on the less athletic, the less boxing respected, like the Liam Parrows, in which he won the title from. And then he had a pick of who he could fight and defend his first defense with, and he selected George Kambosos Jr. You see, you can't make this mess up. But in the meantime, when he was doing what he was doing, he was calling out other fighters, being disrespectful of still other fighters, and speaking as if he had been a person who had planted a flag for a duration, and he is just arriving on the scene, having come in through the back door. You see, you can't fool people like myself with that kind of foolishness, because every time you open your mouth and speak, I have something else to say about it, because there are gaps within your own conversation that match up with the gaps in your career accomplishments. You see, that's not superficial. That's real. Subriel Matias had held the title. We heard nothing of him calling out Matias, calling him names, trying to bait or anything. Wouldn't say his name. Parrow won fair and square, even though it was a tactical means of going about victory. But guess what? That's what fighters do. They improvise. They make a way out of no way, because going into the fight, remember, no one was thinking that Parrow had a chance against Matias. And many others were looking to avoid. I applauded him because he used guile, boxing ability, and he had the wherewithal to stick to a game plan that saw him become victorious. And though his title reign was extremely short, he took on a young Hitchens because that was an opportunity for him to make a greater purse than taking someone else of lesser rating, and also respecting the fact that Hitchens had been given a higher rating in the division of that sanctioning body. So he stepped up to the plate. He didn't ask for, what do they call it? Super titles, or what do they call that when somebody's avoiding the other guys? Interim and all of that. He went on and fought the guy. And I'm gonna tell you something. There is a paradigm shift in the culture of the sport. Many of you can't feel it. You're numb. And that's fine too, because it ain't for everybody. But there are paths that are being closed off and avenues where there's a dead end. And some of these fighters are now going to have to face what's at the end of that dead end.
Yep.
And that's when you're really going to find out, as Drew had his stream the other day, what your favorite fighter isn't about. And you're going to find that there are others who are down with it.
That's right. Y'all gonna see. Don't I always say time reveals all truth? And a lie is nothing but the long way to the truth. All I'm doing is pointing out the facts. And I'm not talking about wins and losses and who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. It's boxing. People win, people lose. But when you cross that finish line, Y'all gonna see who's right. Y'all gonna see who's wrong. Now let's get to the other smoke. Pretty good fights. Let's talk about Gary Anton and Andy Hiroshima. I guess that's disrespectful to call him Hiroshima.
Hiroki.
Hiro, you know, he ain't come to lay down, man. My opinion on the fight, did they get the call right? I'm not mad at the win. I wouldn't have been mad at a draw. What I will say is Andy got started late. He showed Gary too much respect. I don't think the jet lag was a issue for him. They need to fix whatever they had going on. They need to fix his visa. That was BS, man. That was BS. But he came in there, and I think he showed Gary Anton way too much respect. He's dapping it up with him, smiling and stuff. He didn't get serious until the championship rounds. You saw it in his face. The cardio was there. You saw that he had power. He was rangy. His jab, it wasn't a jab to inflict any damage. He was using the jab as a measurement stick. But Gary didn't dominate. He did a lot of shoe shining, pity pat punches that were scoring. And this is boxing, all right? And this is why it's important to have an amateur background, because I noticed when he was doing that, Andy didn't know how to stop that. And then I found out that Andy didn't have an amateur background. That's very important. It's very important. So I think he learned in that fight. Hopefully his camp will point out the discrepancies. But I think if he turned up from round 5 instead of round 7, because round 7, oh Lord, Gary started getting punched in his ribs, and that changed everything. I said, "Oh, what's this?" And all I said was, "Where was that 3 rounds ago?" He needed to have done that 3 rounds ago. He got started too late. And what I learned is that Andy's a live dog at 140. Andy is rangy. I think that was his dad in the corner, because he's mixed.
Yeah.
His dad is very fluent in Japanese. I was trying to listen to the corner work, and I think he switched gears. I saw that Andy had another gear. He had another gear. He's still about 2-dimensional, but he had another gear, and I just wish he started earlier. Because if he started earlier, I think he'd have won the fight by a round or 2, because the second half of the fight was all him. And I don't think Gary knew what he was up against. He might say he knew he was going to be tough, but I don't think he knew how tough. Shout out to Mr. Gary Russell. I love the fact that he ran that corner. The brothers ran that corner, and they did a really good job. They did. There was no panic, and I like that because Mr. Gary Russell is still an active fighter, although we don't see him but one time every 5 fucking years, which is annoying as hell, but whatever. But he knows what he's looking at. He even slapped Anton on top of the head. He's like, "Yo, you not listening, man." I think he was listening. It's just that Andy switched gears.
And he was offering resistance.
Yes, and that's what they weren't prepared for, because in round 7, when he started digging to the body, all of a sudden he got a new breath of fresh air, and he was trying to take his ribs out. I was like, "Oh snap!" And
that's why in my breakdown video where I was giving him the consideration for the upset, because
yes,
I understood that about him after having studied some tape on him.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, he just got going a couple of rounds too late.
Yeah.
If he had started a couple of rounds earlier, he may have even got a stoppage, because the reason that Antoine went to the pity patting. It was scoring, but usually that's not scored heavily in professional boxing. That is taking consideration in the amateurs.
The amateurs.
Because
Right.
you're just moving your hands at that point. That is
Right.
not clean and effective punching.
It's not.
But they allowed it because he was fighting a guy from another country.
Yeah.
Think about it for what it is. Had it been against someone of more formidable or well-renowned that you know that the Vegas judges know, they wouldn't have considered that. It's just like when you see fights where fighters are putting in good body work and they don't accredit the body work. If you've got another guy who is got a scoring jab and he has good punch placement up top, well, you have to still look at the clean and effective punches. Who was doing the damage? Or as Max Kellerman has been known to say many times in the past, who would you have rather been during that round or those exchanges?
Mm-hmm.
You would have rather been Andy because he was putting the hurt on Anton.
He was.
And Anton, lastly, I'll say this part, the pity pats also were because he couldn't put mustard on it because of that body work that was done to him.
Right.
It took the edge off of his own power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
That's right.
therein lies that 117 to 110 or whatever that was, 117, that was one of the most ridiculous scores that you could. Dude,
I think Jack Reese was a judge for that.
listen, I had Andy winning 8-4. And the 4 were the first 4 pretty much for Gary Anton. But when that body work kicked in, there might have been a couple of swing rounds.
Right.
But I don't judge with my heart like, oh, I want this guy. I'm judging by what I'm seeing transpire.
Mhm.
And I saw Gary Anton started good and fast.
Mhm.
But by that 5th or 6th round, you saw a change.
Mm-hmm.
And I started giving the other guy the credit for the changes that he had made.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Now, there was no, we talk about ebb and flow in boxing. Well, a fight could be going one way, then another fighter makes a certain kind of adjustment and it can start swinging in his favor and things like that. Well, once it started going that way toward Andy, ask yourself the question, what did Gary Anton do to change that?
Nothing.
And if you were listening to the commentators, they said that Gary Anton is not making any adjustment on this.
No, they said it twice.
They said it.
Twice. So what did we learn about Gary Anton? He's about a 2D fighter.
Yeah.
If he's on you and you don't make him change, then he might beat you. But if you match his energy, he don't do anything else. And that's what happened. And I'm gonna tell you something else. He'll never see him again. I don't care if the rankings say, hey, guess what? A year from now, you got to run it back with Andy. If Andy has like another 2 solid wins and they say, hey, Gary, you got to fight Andy again, I bet you they will find a way around that fight. You don't want no smoke with Andy again. You don't want, guess what? You don't take that fight unless you absolutely have to. But if he has other options, he'll take those options. That's another tough fight. He's not going to do that. And his brothers won't recommend it. You won, go away with that one. I don't like those cards, though. But my God, I watched that fight change. I'm sitting here looking at it. And the only thing I said when that bell sounded at the end, I said, bro, if because Andy waited until the championship rounds to get mean with him. He wasn't dapping it up with him no more, nothing. If he'd have got started in round 5, he'd have ran away with this thing. He'd have ran because Gary respected him after that. He tore those ribs up. I think it was at the end of round 7. He 3-pieced them before the round ended. Boom, boom, boom. And his head was like this. I said, oh my God, what's Gary gonna do? He came out and made no adjustments. When he started backing Gary up, you started to see who Gary is. And this is why I'm not sold on his ass. I'm not sold on him.
You know what's interesting? All of these guys, Gary Anton, Richardson Hitchens, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, even Tank Davis, all of these guys, they talk all of this crap. Why these guys don't go fight in other countries?
Because they know what it is.
They don't want to be exposed for being, I don't know what you call it in other sports, but when you only want to play at home, when you only want to play, like Shakur fought a lot of fights in Jersey, and he's fighting here, you know. Of course, he did have the one fight that he fought over there when he was on the Riyadh season card. But again, he was invited, so he was kind of like in an A-side position for that. But when you have to do it, man, and get it out of the mud, that's why when you look at certain fighters who go and, like Dalton Smith, for example, he came over here, you know, and did what he did. Well, he went to Puerto Rico. Well, Puerto Rico is considered part of the U.S. anyway. But my whole thing is, when guys can go across seas into someone else's backyard, unfamiliar territory, and still be successful, even though they have certain odds stacked against them, you're seeing someone accomplish something with a little more than what's on the surface. And that's a reason to not only celebrate them, but to give an acknowledgement for how difficult that can be. Imagine coming home every day or at the end of a pay period, you know, when it's time to pay your bills, and you walk through the door and everybody in the house is like, boo, get out of here, you asshole, and everything, leave the check on the counter and get the fuck out. You know, it's like, you're like, whoa. It's like, but I worked hard for you. I'm trying to pay the bills here. That's what it's like. Mm-hmm. And you think that there's something wrong with that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That's like, funny. That's the greatest way to put it, though.
Yes.
That's how it is. Funny, man. Yeah, man. But Gary won. Now, let me speak to him. Let me speak to his demeanor as a person. Oh, let me be very clear. His demeanor as a brother, he ain't mine. And I say that with all respect to Batman, rest his soul. But Gary Anton, no, bro, I seen you already. They asked him at the end of the damn fight, what's up with you and Shakur? You remember, did y'all hear what he said? Utmost respect. I have to earn my keep. And, you know, he's a champion. I'm a champion. And I was like, what is he talking about? Where is the run it? I'm the man at 140. Tell Shakur sign it. He's up there. He's up there calling the fight. What's up? I'm with it. Whenever he's ready, I'm here. He didn't do any of that. He did everything outside of getting on his knees and gulping. Slurp, slurp. And I'm watching this like, well, this is strange. Ask that motherfucker about Devin Haney, see what he says. And Devin's at 47. It's F Devin, F Bill, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And go Ryan, right? Let me be very clear. If you're black and you stand with Ryan, I don't fucks with you. End of. I stand on it. And I seen a lot of things yesterday. So when I tell you, I got to pull back on a lot of people. I tried. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You got one time to show me who you are. I 100% believe you. And Gary Anton is one of those. Enjoy your win. You better go undefeated, because if something strange happens to you, like somebody else popping dirty, or you on the wrong end of a decision, and I know I saw you beat that person, go on and scream robbery. I'm just gonna call the fight, because it's just boxing, right? I'm just gonna say, hey man, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, wait, what's boxing? What are you talking about? Because I'm not gonna talk about what we saw, but we are gonna talk about what we saw, right? So good luck. So now, let's talk about Frank Martin. That was a hell of a fight.
Oh, yes, it was.
That was a hell of a fight. And let me shout out Albright. I want to get him on the show. Let me tell you, nobody was really thinking about him. But you see why DB3 ran up in that locker room. You see why. Because they needed to be DB3 of them to beat his ass. Because one of them couldn't do it.
DB3.
Right. Because one of them couldn't do it. They needed DB3 to jump that boy. Because I'm going to tell you something. We just got done saying Frank Martin's a whole problem at 140. And watch this. He still is. But Albright just showed you
that he is too.
I am too. It wasn't no fluke that I beat. Guess what? Keyshawn is the most talented out of the brothers. So they gave me his brother, and I handled that. And it wasn't a fluke. That's all right. He was just coming off of a really good win. And I know we wasn't really thinking about it. I said, yeah, you know, Frank might get this. I didn't call for a knockout. But I said, Frank, and it looked like Frank was in cruise control. But I unmute my TV, and I love listening to corner work. And for those of you that don't know boxing, if you unmuted the TV and listened to Buddy McGirt, he was telling Frank what was about to happen if he didn't listen. And I'll be damned. Frank looked really good, but he has a bad habit of pulling out with his head straight like this. And he's too small to be doing. Well, he's short. Well, all these guys are short to me, but Albright, the kryptonite to a southpaw is a straight right hand. Albright was rangy. And I said, he got to stop doing that. And as soon as I said it again, he punched, bro, he punched Frank. And he started doing the boogie. I said, God damn it. Unbelievable, bro. I knew it. Now, with respect to Frank, discipline kicked in. Your training kicked in. I'm hurt. What do you do? What do you do when you're hurt? You hold.
Tie him up.
You tie him up. And I looked at his face. He was still wobbly, but he was conscious. And then this motherfucker hit him again. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And almost put him on his ass. But let me explain something to you. Albright don't get blindsided by that bad round that Frank had. I need you to understand something. He had a bad round, not because of the mistakes, because he got comfortable in his skin doing that, pulling straight back the whole fight. Albright picked that up, and he took advantage, and he popped him. The last 2 rounds of that fight is why it was a draw, because Albright showed he had grit, he had heart, and he showed he had another gear. He was in shape, and I want to let y'all know something. That was only a 10-round fight. Let me ask you a question. Why was Frank Martin fatigued at the end of a 10-round fight? Are y'all paying attention? We need to reevaluate what we saw last night. And I know we like Frank Martin, but at the end of a 10-round fight, if you're getting clipped like that at the end, and then you're looking fatigued, and it's a 12-round fight, he has to reassess some things. Just because you have a six-pack and you ain't got no love handles, that don't mean you in shape. Not in boxing shape. And now you know that Albright was in shape because he wasn't huffing and puffing at the end of the fight. Frank was. And I'm going to tell you something else. If that was a 12-round fight, Albright would have stopped him.
Yeah.
Albright would have stopped him. And I say this respectfully. I fucks with Frank Martin, but we're here to tell the truth, right? He has to look at some film like right now. He should be eating dinner, looking at film like, yo, I could have did this, could have did that. And it's not like Frank does not waste punches. Frank does not, he's not light on his feet like a Sugar Ray Leonard. He could dance all night. Nah, he's a plotter, but he has really good defense. I don't know why he was fatigued in the championship rounds, and it was only a 10-round fight. What was that? You know what that was? That was Albright working him. There was things Albright was doing that y'all ain't see. Go ahead, Stormy.
Not only that, there's another little thing that people, to the casual observer, that they don't notice about certain fighters. A lot of fighters of today don't know how to stay in a fight by not showing everything early.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other words, you have to be able to save something for later. And what happens is anxiety sets in, and they feel like they might have to fight harder when the fight is just beginning. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could come out, say you jump out to a 3 or 4 round advantage where you collected the first 3 or 4 rounds. You need to know how to let it down every round, every other round or so or whatever, so that you're able to ensure that you can pick it up later. That doesn't mean you stop fighting. What it means is there are levels. Some guys come out on 8, 9, even 10 in the first quarter of a fight. Let me show you what I mean. Casual observers are out here and they have channels and they talk their ish when they talk in boxing, but they don't know what they're talking about because they'll say something like this. Do you remember when Bud Crawford fought Kell Brook?
Yes.
And there was this sentiment about Bud that these guys were saying. And there's even a couple of guys in our community have said it. They say, well, Bud is a slow starter.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a slow starter. He's built to last. Have you ever seen Bud look fatigued in the championship rounds?
Never. Not in my life. Never.
He's built to last. Mm-hmm. Meaning he knows how to fight round after round, round within a round.
I don't think they understood that, Stormy. I don't think they understood that.
Yeah, round after round or round within a round. What that means is that you got 3 minutes to work with. Just like in a championship fight, you've got basically 3 quarters to work with. See, divided by 3. 3-minute rounds, 12 rounds, 3 quarters. You have to know how to fight over the scale of the 12 rounds. You need to know how to fight within the 3 minutes of a round. The feel out process is real. What happens during the fill out process is the experienced guy, 88 Sports Talk, salute to you. It's more than just pacing yourself, brother, because you can't always dictate the pace. Sometimes the pace is dictated to you. But what I'm talking about,
guy, yeah.
But what I'm talking about falls into how to get beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
When a round starts, your objective is to go out there and establish your game plan. Now, how close can I get to this guy and touch him?
Mm-hmm.
Where does this guy punching power maximize? At what distance? Where do I look for how I can tell where his shots are coming or how he gets off? You know, some of the old trainers used to teach you, you don't look the other guy in the eyes, but you look up around his shoulders and chest area.
Yep.
So that you get to learn the pattern of his body movement. If his chest flexes, he's getting ready to throw a shot. You know, it might be a jab, it might be a right hand, it will be something. You also are assessing when some guys, when they get ready to punch, they'll actually pull back the bow like they're throwing a bow and arrow. You know what I'm saying? It's like it happens. What was his name? Jermaine, what's his name? The kid that had the mental problems?
Jermaine Taylor. When he used to jab, his right hand be way over here. You know, he jabbed. And then when he throw his right hand, he used to draw it back first and let it go. Skilled fighters would take advantage of that with him, and they did. These things that I'm talking about, the good coaches tell you this. They teach you this in the gym. That's why all that fighting in the gym is not good. Not good.
You're supposed to learn in the gym. Huh? When you're in a classroom, the teacher has a curriculum that you follow, and there are certain subjects that they give you information on. You're supposed to study that and whatever, and then they'll come back and they'll test you on it, and they'll say, hey, we're going to have a quiz. The quiz is to make sure that you're receiving the information. The test means you're ready to proceed beyond this point. Do you understand? It's two different things. So in the classroom of boxing, to get through a round, it requires you to be able to understand what's going on within that round. I just laid it out for you. As the rounds go on, the person who's getting touched more has to make an adjustment. The person that's doing the touching has to make an adjustment. What adjustment do they make? Okay, I've been able to touch him like this. Let me start doing something a little different so he doesn't catch on to my pattern.
Right.
Because while he's adjusting to what you've already been doing, you switched up. And now he got to fight even different now because you switched up on him. But then you can go back to what you was originally doing. That's the ebb and flow that's supposed to take place in the fight. What I'm giving you right now are principles of how to conduct here. But it's like the casual observer don't know these things. They don't. They just hit him, do this, fight. Oh, no.
In the corner doing that. Not cats on YouTube. Corner work telling them that.
See, not only that, but your game plan is like this. If we get beyond a certain point, then we start doing something else. And that something else is what's going to bring us across the finish line.
Correct.
Frank had fought as if he was ready to cross the finish line.
Yeah. Yep.
he was probably more glad for the bell to ring than Albright was.
Yep.
He won't
Albright
admit
won-
that.
Albright 1 or 2 more rounds.
Yeah, he
He
won't
did.
admit that, you know,
Mhm.
but it's probably true. And it's probably because he gave too much of what he had to offer too early. So getting back to the Bud Crawford thing and Kell Brook, Bud was assessing things with Brook. Brook was scoring. Brook was having an advantage. He might have even had a lead and out front.
Mm-hmm.
But Bud was sizing him up and looking at him like this. Oh, he can't see my punches when he's within such and such range. But that's an assessment after 3 or 4 rounds.
Right.
So come round 6 or 7, Kell Brook steps within that range and yank, he lets it go on him.
Yep.
And Kell Brook is like, what the fuck was that?
Yep.
The ref is counting 3, 4, 5. You okay? Brook is like, yeah, but what did I get hit with? You know, and then they consume the fight. And then Bud, who is a great finisher, finishes him off. You know what that's like? There's something out there in the woods called a trapdoor spider. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, I have.
A trapdoor spider is a big spider. He's about the big size of a tarantula almost. But he spreads webbing out across a certain area. And he has leaves and stuff over his little pit. And he's webbed it all up. And it opens and closes like a trap door. Now, when certain insects come crawling across that webbing that he's spread out, he feels that tension rod that alerts him, oh, dinner is being served. And when they get within a certain range, because you have to understand, when you are on the outskirts of the trapdoor spider's webbing, he may not come and get you because you might just be passing along the edge.
Mm.
But the more that you come in, the stronger the tension gets.
Yeah.
So he knows when you're within a certain range that you ain't going to be able to get away when you come out, because spiders are very quick.
Mm-hmm.
So you get within that, whatever that range is for him, that he got you. You're in that range, he comes out, boom, he grabs you, he pulls you right back into the pit. And that's the end of that insect. Sometimes that's the end of a mouse or whatever, because it depends on the size of the creature, because they will go after more than insects. You see? But again, what I just gave, the analogy with how Bud handled Kell Brook and everything, making the assessment, because you have to understand what you're doing in there. You give a guy a certain look, oh, I made this feint, and he bit on it hard. I'll come back to that later. You see? It's not always about grandstanding and showing your balls and this and that. It's the sweet science. And the best are able to do these things. They can make the adjustments. They can actually have you feeling like you're really doing something. And then all of a sudden, boom, they take it away from you. Just like that trapdoor spider. And is what I'm saying making any sense to you?
100%. You know I get it.
Yeah.
You know I get it. But it's a shame that you listen to corner work and you listen to these airheads. You know what? There's something called deliberately dumb. It's one thing to root for a fighter because he's from your city, from your town. He might be related to you, whatever. But when you're not a student of the game, you can't relate to anything that is boxing, then be a fan, but stay in your place. Be a fan. It's okay to be a fan. All boxers deserve fans, but stay in your place, because when we start having these in-depth conversations, you don't qualify. You don't qualify to talk to me about the science of sport. You don't qualify to talk to me about racism in any sports, in life. You don't qualify. So you can be a fan of your fighter, of your choice. But when I have conversations like this, leave. You don't qualify to talk to us. You really don't. With that being said, let's get on to this. I never want to see Mario Barrios again. He was the weakest link at 147, and the only way Ryan would get a world title shot was through the WBC, which pulls some bull crap. And they got what they wanted. Now, what he's going to do with it, we're going to see. But I want y'all to understand that Ryan was a leapfrog because he lost his last fight at 140. He leapfrogged at least 30 people to get a world title shot. And he's in there looking like the Incredible Hulk. Hands all fast. We always had fast hands, but time negates speed. He's not no superhero. It was just Mario Barrios. That's all that was. And I want you goons to understand something. This was politics and bull crap at its finest. I don't respect it. There's a particular part of the program where I see Mauricio Sillyman in the front row with this sick smirk. Oscar De La Hoya and his tranny girlfriend, you know, they were smirking and orgasming, you know. It's pathetic. They keep referring to Ryan Garcia. They kept saying things, buzzwords like buzz phrases like the champion he's destined to be. I heard Mike Kappen just say that. You're on mute. Okay. Yeah. The champion he's destined to be. And he has troubled in the past. No. Say what the troubles were. The racial outbursts. Him being suspended for 1 year on Ostarine. Lying about his drug addiction. Say what it is. Because every other black athlete, you're very specific about the time and dates of their issues that they had, if any. If Adrian Broner has a fight coming up, you get real specific about his alcohol problems, his finances, and everything else. Very specific about anybody, even Floyd Mayweather. Oh, well, he had to, after he beat Miguel Cotto, he had to serve time in jail for assaulting the mother of his children or child. You're very specific. Ryan, DAZN never talks about it. They still talk about the Devin Haney fight, knowing that that fight is a no contest by way of the rules and regulations. But I expect DAZN to do things like that. I expect white Mike Kappinger to do that. I expect Chris Mannix to ignore all of that. But you know what is it's no longer frustrating to me because you kids are different today. And this is how I know your parents are failures. 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 This is how I know. It's deeper than boxing and you're just trying to get a fight. Because the Russell family, their father, he died a few years ago. But I like to know why Gary Anton Russell takes that position. You know why? Because the enemy of my enemy. You see, the real enemy is Devin Haney. Because like I said a couple of days ago, Devin Haney is who you wish your favorite fighter could be. And I'm going to grind that axe tomorrow morning. I'm going to say it again. Devin Haney is who you wish your favorite fighter could be. He's supposed to have PTSD. He's supposed to have pillow fists. He's supposed to have a glass chin. He ain't worth no money. But everybody's avoiding him. And you clowns would rather spoon each other. Richardson and Hitchens got approached. No fight. Gary Anton had a lot to say. Space and opportunity. But all of a sudden, him and Shakur are friends. Now he's like, oh, I'm going to stay in my lane and I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to wait my turn. I understand it's a business. You got everything to say about Devin, though, right? There's something there about Devin that frightens his contemporaries. It makes them jealous. And I'm going to grind that gear. Wait till tomorrow. But all of you knuckle draggers, y'all showed y'all ass yesterday, didn't you? Didn't you? You really showed your ass. First of all, Shakur. I'm telling y'all right now. His fan base, I'm talking directly to you clowns. Because at this point, you're clowns. you better hope that kid doesn't fight Ryan Garcia, because if he does, Ryan will cheat him. Ryan is going to cheat him. I'm telling you right now. Because I believe he cheated last night. I believe that. Don't tell me, oh, well, you know, he didn't know. The kid is a cheater. He's a cheater. That was not the same Ryan we saw versus Rolly Romero. And y'all do not hold him to the same standard. Get it back in blood. Rolly beat him, dropped him and everything. Get it back in blood. What happened? Oh, well, this was worth more. No, but get it back in blood. How about run that Rolly Romero smoke back right now? Ain't he a champion at 47? What are we doing here? This is ridiculous. Sort of D-blowing. Now he goes backstage. Shakur, I'm talking about, goes backstage and sees Ryan, and he's looking at Ryan. Oh, I thought you was bigger than that. I keep telling you I'm not that big. And then some fan clapper. Oh man, this is easy work. Ryan will beat you. Bud looks at that clown and says, you a boxer? No, I'm his cousin. Shut up. Bud was getting annoyed listening to, because it's always the clowns like that with the biggest mouths. Bud sized him up in 2 seconds and he changed, and then he wanted to dap it up with Bud. Why are you talking? Shut up. He said, you a boxer? End of discussion. And what's this with Shakur talking about? What is this obsession with Shakur and size with other people? Listen, man, y'all can't call Devin Haney a weight bully when he was fucking around draining himself at 35 all these years. Y'all can't call Devin Haney a weight bully, where every time I turn around, Shakur is concerned with size. He want to catch weight everybody. Listen, he only beat Teofimo Lopez, who was a mark from day one. I told y'all there wasn't no black fighter that is a contemporary of Teo that Teo's going to beat. I said everybody beats him. I said that. It's a matter who gets him first. And the half-breed got him and smoked him. It's only Teo. Now, why the hell do you think Shakur is so standoffish about fighting Devin? Why do you think that? Why do you think he really wanted that Tank smoke? You want to know why they didn't fight? I've stood right next to Shakur. He's not small in comparison to his contemporaries. He's bigger than Tank. And Tank knew that he wouldn't agree to a rehydration clause because Tank was going to get smoked by Shakur, which is why Tank's team said he's not going to stand there and let us do what we do. No. Shakur was about to smoke Tank. That's why the fight never happened. You don't believe me? Look what Lamont Roach did. And he don't want to run that back. But let's stay on Shakur. Active squad, right? Everybody got a problem, but ain't no one solving it. So look, you don't like Devin? I'm not here for the understanding of mankind. You're supposed to not. If you feel you don't have to like somebody to compete, then that's just what it is. All I'm saying is fight them. But you touch a nerve where y'all are partying up with Ryan Garcia. And that's what this conversation's about right now. I don't trust you, knuckle draggers. I don't trust you, jungle bunnies. Eating fried chicken and watermelon all day. I don't trust you, black jungle bunnies. I don't trust you. So moving forward, I'm going to treat you knuckle draggers, you jungle bunnies, accordingly. I don't want to hear y'all scream and cry about weight no more. I don't want to hear y'all talk about cheating and drug testing. Look, I heard a lot of people saying, oh, I don't want Shakur fighting Tank. I don't want Shakur fighting Ryan. You know what? Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead, and y'all don't put the kid on Vada. Y'all go ahead and make him great. Because I know what the fuck I'm looking at. I'm about to show y'all something. Are y'all familiar with HGH? Stormy, you familiar with human growth hormone? You've heard of it?
Yes.
Okay. I know. I see Xavier in there. Somebody tell me, where do you inject HGH? What does it say? What does it say? When you inject HGH, Where does it go normally? Let me put you up on game. A few years ago, The Rock did his last stint in the WWE with his Samoan family versus Cody Rhodes. And I watched it. I watched that WrestleMania, and he was walking around, and the injections were visible. The injections were visible. I said, damn, they just don't care, do they? Right? Snoop says stomach. Uh-oh.
Whoa! What the
Go!
Wow. Now, I've never taken a performance enhancement drug in my life. I've taken supplements. I've taken energy drinks. I do a lot of calisthenics. That's where my physique comes from. But I've been around a lot of people that use a lot of stuff. Yeah, you see that? Y'all go look at the last WrestleMania that The Rock participated in and look at his abdomen. And he got a 12-pack of abs. And it tells you the stomach or a fatty part of the body. If you got flab underneath your arms or your butt cheek. But you put it in the stomach because it spreads out the best there. Yeah, I know. I'm reaching, right? I'm reaching. Okay. Okay. Don't listen to me. But I'm going to ask y'all. That Ryan Garcia you saw last night, was that the Ryan Garcia that you saw versus Rolly? You know why he ain't going to run it back with Rolly? Because Rolly is stupid, but he ain't that dumb. No, you're going to get on VADA testing, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing? I saw that last night. I said, yo, man, come on, bro. Come on, man. Drew, why would you think that? Did he not pop already? Huh? Did he not pop already? Y'all know the Hebrew hammer? The Hebrew hammer. Wait a minute. I got y'all right now. The Hebrew hammer. Cletus Selden. Out of Brooklyn, New York, the Hebrew hammer. Fought Zab Judah, was dirty. Zab had to go into medically induced coma because he had blood on the brain after he fought the Hebrew hammer, Cletus Selden. He was suspended. There was some politics behind that. He came back. Don't you know he popped again? Now, I don't know if they're going to kick him out the sport or not, but I'm going to say he returns. I did a video on this. I'm going to say he comes back. So if your fighter was signed to fight the Hebrew hammer, would you not say, hey, man, you got to get on VADA? If you got the money to do that, you got to get on VADA. 24, from the moment you sign that contract, I want VADA to have you on your toes. 7 days in a week, you don't know when they showing up. It could be 3 a.m. They come knocking at your door. And if you don't answer to go piss in this damn tube, you ain't fighting. This is not football where you run a little faster. This is not baseball where you can hit a ball a little harder. This ain't soccer. You can run a little faster and kick the ball. This isn't the Olympics where you're running track and snatching weights. This is a combat sport. You can die in there. And all I ever asked is for a clean fucking sport. This jerk that I saw, this racist POS that I saw last night was not the guy that I saw fight Rolly Romero that lost and got dropped in the second round. That's not him.
Not only that, but region plays a huge part in this because there are areas of the U.S. where a paired cheater like Ryan will have most advantages. And being in Vegas, that happens to be one of the capitals where people like himself can even get to the ring to have a fight before the results come out And though they are more lenient with what's allowed and accepted, levels and all, what happens is he can get to the ring, have his performance before anything is flagged. And he will have already had his, let's say like last night, have his success and had the benefits of what he's been doing outside of the sport get to work for him 100%. When they fought he and Rolly in New York, of course, it's more stringent there, and he was enjoying, well, Rolly was enjoying the benefits of Devin having put Ryan in the 24/7, 365 testing, because they were supposed to be aligning for a rematch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, understand that in order to do what they were doing, they tried, Golden Boy and Ryan tried to get Pitbull Cruz at first.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't able to do that. So they went with Rolly, but it was like testing the waters because they didn't know how Ryan was going to be able to perform against another fighter that's at that level and everything, and how is he going to manage up? And he didn't fare well. He was down himself in the second round on the canvas. He looked weak. He didn't look as strong and as aggressive and bullying of nature as he had been against Devin. And he was very docile until the end of the fight, where he boxed last night against Barrios. Even though Barrios is a shit performing fighter, he never tried any of what he did last night against Rolly. That's because he didn't have his goodie bag, you see. And so now, watch for it. Don't be surprised if you hear this from Golden Boy, from Oscar De La Hoya himself. Ryan is the biggest thing in boxing. He's Vegas's new star.
He's already saying it, Stormy.
Is he? I didn't hear him say that specifically, but
right.
Is he saying that?
They're pushing him off as that, and is in reference to Sugar Nunez and Emmanuel Navarrete. They're pushing Navarrete as the next, well, the winner of that fight, the next Mexican star. So they have one.
What I'm saying, listen to what I said though. Vegas, the West Coast.
Got it.
Because that's a safe haven for him. Because of the testing.
So they're gonna try and get Devin to go take his ass over there where he can be on Ostarine.
Yeah.
He could be on HGH.
And also say, well, aren't you from Oakland? Come on, we could do it in front of your people. We could do it in front of our people.
And I'm gonna tell y'all this. Devin's like that. He'll go, but I'm gonna tell Bill, y'all don't budge on that.
Nope.
Y'all take this shit right back to Brooklyn.
Yep.
Y'all take it right back to Brooklyn. You ain't gotta budge on anything. I don't care.
Or Saudi.
Or Saudi. That's what you do. Because you know why? Very simple. They want Ryan to be this rock star. He already fucked up. And at the end of the fight, he started talking about the fucking kids again. Oh, save the kids, save the kids, save the kids. Man, you know what, man? I want to talk to your father about the Ben Wallace looking black man that snatched you out your crib and gave you back shots in the goddamn alley. You said that, bro. It's in writing. I have the tweet. You said that. Man, you know what? I can show you better than I can tell you. I can show you better than I can tell you. Hold on. Where is it? You said that, bro. I want to know, where was Henry? Is this it? Wait, hold on. I want to know, when you said that, where was your father? Where is it? Well, I know I got it. Is this it? Got a lot of Ryan Garcia stuff here. Oh, if I lose, I'm going to jail with Diddy. That's one thing he said. You know what? I'm not gonna. Y'all know he said it. He said it. I just can't see all the stuff. I have everything in a folder. I just can't read it. It's too small on my screen. Nitty G, salute, brother. Good to see you. But let me be very clear when I say this. He's a marketing scheme. They want him fighting exclusively in Vegas so he can juice. I don't want Devin, because I'm not speaking for black fighters anymore. Not these jungle bunnies. Forget y'all. Y'all like smiling and playing in Ryan's face. Y'all go ahead, man. Y'all go ahead. I don't care if he cheats Shakur. I don't care if he ends up fighting Gary Anton Russell and cheats him. I don't care. I only care about Devin. Okay? I don't care. It's only Devin. And I'll tell Bill, y'all ain't gotta, if y'all ain't fighting in Brooklyn or in Oakland or in Saudi, y'all ain't gotta fight that dude. Y'all ain't gotta fight that dude. Why? He was trying to get to Vegas in that first fight. Yep. He was trying to get to Vegas then. Why? And we found out why. So if you fight him in Vegas, he's definitely going to be on top of it. Or I'm on Osterine again, but I'm right at that threshold. So get out of here. Get out of here. So y'all like playing at Ryan, playing with Ryan. I don't respect y'all. All right. All of these things that y'all talking about, y'all hold Ryan to a good standard. He's all forgiving. Y'all looking at Shakur. He's on his ill pound for pound list. He only beat Tio. But I'm looking at Devin, way more accomplished, and he's looking for the smoke while Shakur needs a catch weight. Your pound for pound lists are garbage. The fanatics are garbage. Your fighter is garbage. And I'm going to leave it with this. Tomorrow, I'm going to remind y'all that the old regime is dead. Y'all trying to freeze Devin out. Y'all want to know why I fucks with Zuffa? You can't freeze anybody out. You're earning your keep. Devin could be the third fight on the card, but the highest paid. Where's the freeze out in that? If Devin hangs up his gloves 10 years from now and he never fought Shakur or Tank or Anton Russell or your favorite fighter, you'll know that it's nothing that DHP did. It's your favorite fighter. Because there's a list. But I'm going to bust y'all ass tomorrow. And I'll leave it on that note. Stormy, man. Closing words, brother.
My closing thoughts are... we're seeing a lot of last-ditch efforts by the old regime in boxing. And over the past couple of weekends, it's been horrible. This fight card, though when it was put together, it was a nice fight card minus the main event because we never really thought much of Mario Barrios, and we don't really give much credence to Ryan Garcia. But having Hitchens pull out after the weigh-in, that's utter disrespect to the sport and to his colleagues and contemporary. How can anyone ever trust him again? Listen, this is right up there with what Keyshawn did. It is. See, and I'm going to tell you something. These guys watch. They learn and observe who gets away with what and how they do it. And if they're still able to come back and have something, they'll readily settle into that than having a sense of pride and justice and going out there and being on the level. So when Keyshawn did what he did, don't forget, he was out for a while. That's a suspension. When he did come back on the scene and was allowed to have this fight, there are people observing. Why you don't think that Richardson Hitchens and the way he behaved and how he's spoken and everything, whom he's spoken ill of, all of that factors in. Ryan, though no melanated fighter is going to get the advantages that he's allowed to have and enjoy, but you couldn't see it coming. You should have known who and what he's all about when Rolly was able to take care of business with him. That was the real Ryan. That was the same Ryan that fought Luke Campbell Soup. Same guy. The guy you saw last night was the guy that cheated Devin.
But
and Mario Barrios is a guy who, again, in so many ways, he's wrong. What he should have done was went ahead and fought Devin. You know why? Because it would have been the most money he could have made, and he would have still had and suffered a loss as he did, and he would not have lost any respect from people who truly invest in the sport and support the sport appropriately. What I'm saying about him is valid. It holds a tremendous amount of credence. He's a shit fighter, Mario Barrios. And he should never be allowed to be on television again, because it's one of the biggest whorish representations that I've ever seen. And if you think you did it for your fellow American Mexican, that's all bullshit. Because at the end of the day, it's about that money. And you would have made far more unifying against Devin, the other world champion. And you would have had something to look back upon and say, well, at least I lost not only to the better man, but my bank account looks awfully sweet. And you can lay your head down at night and know that you didn't sell out. You see, Giovanni Santillan didn't sell out when he faced Brian Norman Jr. He got knocked out, but he didn't sell out. So you still have that warrior thing that Santillan can carry around as a badge of honor. But it was also shown that he was only at a certain level in the sport and would only be at that level. If you're good with that, you do what you do. You see, with Barrios, this is ridiculous, because it's just no overcoming that. And Ryan is the sort that you don't have a commonplace with him, because he has already shown that there's no integrity with what he does. So y'all can dap it up with him and everything and visit him in the locker rooms and all of that, but you don't mean any more to him than a sheet of toilet paper that's prepared when he goes to the washroom. And I'm being very genuine when I say that. For the rest of the fighters that were on the card, Frank Martin, Nair Albright, Gary Anton, Andy Naroka. Listen, all of those men, they deserve opportunities to come back and do it all again as a main and co-event on their own, because they did the thing. And that's what people tune in for, to watch boxing at the height of competition. If you notice, when the decision was meted out for Gary Anton, there was no cheering. There was none whatsoever, because people didn't like that decision. So like I said, boxing is going through a transition. It's on its fumes right now. And that card showed a lot of what could be okay with boxing and pretty good, and what is horrible about boxing and it's damn near toilet material. So that thing right there is what people need to take heed of, okay? And as far as what's coming with Zuffa and everything, we saw last week, we got the news Conor Benn left Matchroom. After all that Eddie Hearn did to save Conor Benn's career and keep him out of ban, and also to, you know, paying his court costs and all of this stuff like that. The rat bit the hand of its own.
Yep.
And gave him rabies.
Yep.
The beautiful thing.
Y'all don't see what's going to go. Y'all don't see what's about to happen. Okay, go ahead.
Chickens coming home to roost, huh? And in the case of Conor Benn, rats biting the owner in the ass. It's a great thing. It's a great thing, because at the end of the day, cream will rise to the top, and the turds will float to the bottom. Those are my thoughts, brother. I appreciate you having me on this evening.
Are you scared to death, Negro?
I'm watching y'all. Freeze Hollywood in that super chat. Salute to you, good brother. And salute to I had got a cash app from my brother Bernard, man. Salute to you. Thank you so much. All you scared to death Negroes. All right. Y'all go ahead. Y'all go right ahead. And I'll see y'all in the AM. Salute to everybody in the Venmo, Zelda, Cash App, Super Chat. What they say, the Clarissa Shields fight is on now. Whatever, man. I'm exhausted at this point. I'm exhausted. So salute to y'all, man, and keep hope alive, man. Bronx on deck.
Move!
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Nigger, nigger.